Looking for the latest on the Jazz, Utes, Cougars, and Aggies? Yeah, we've got you covered. This is Hans Olsen and Scotty G on 97.5, the Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Let's talk a little hockey.
This song kind of hits the sport.
This feels like a hockey song.
Yeah.
Jay, when you were getting ready for a game, was there like a playlist or music that you had dialed up?
Yeah, always. And you know, it evolved over the years, but like I remember my first mixtape, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was a long time ago, right? And I had like Renegade from Styx on there because I just thought that kind of spoke to being a goaltender. You're the one they can't beat, you know, stuff like that. So, yeah, always. At Queensryche, tons of Queensryche, tons of Beastie Boys. And I would always that's what I listen to rather than listen to people talk.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Jay, more and more, I'm just finding that these are my people.
Yeah.
Like, these are my people. They're Vikings that came across a frozen pond. And
Absolute warriors, yeah.
Let's throw a rock out on that ice and throw elbows in each other's face, and we'll see who gets it into this little bucket first, and let's rock and roll.
Yeah.
Because it is near primeval.
It's combat, yeah.
And I'm falling in love with it more and more. But you know what I found is the closer that you get where you can really watch it and see all the stupid little jabs and all the things that are going on, then the more you fall in love with it. TV, I think out of all the sports that you watch on TV, it might be baseball, because baseball live is incredible.
Yes.
But you can't gain what you need to gain from hockey from a TV product.
Yeah, I agree. Because you're right. And I feel like TV is intentionally like not focusing on some of the close-up behind-the-scenes stuff, or, you know, you miss a lot of those little jabs, and you'll see a fight, and you'll be like, why did that even happen? Because you didn't see what happened and then a lot of times they'll cut away from it too. So whatever happened 3 plays ago, or at the end of the last play in the neutral zone, or whatever, and all of a sudden 2 guys are mad at each other, and you don't know why, because you didn't see it.
Yeah.
You just saw the puck.
So I'm watching the game, let's see, what was that, 2 days ago, Scotty? How many days ago was that?
The Penguins game? 2 days ago.
2
It
days
was
ago.
Wednesday.
2 days ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a game.
So I'm watching the game, and I'm kind of back behind Ingram.
Oh, well, okay.
And Bukestad.
Yeah, he got good.
Yeah, how do you? I thought I had hookups.
It's a media pass. And Bukestad came back behind the net, and I can't remember which Penguin player it was, took his glove, and Bukestad's head was kind of tipped back, and just gave him a hard, stiff shot right to the Adam's apple.
Yeah.
Just bam. Officials didn't call it. Bukestad didn't throw off gloves and go at it. I could tell it got him, and it got him good. Because I was like, oh, my gosh, that was a stiff jab. But it's those kinds of things that later down the road, Bukestad is taking a stick and throwing it across the back of a neck on somebody, because it's like, I'm going to get you. Not now, because I'm busy getting this puck out of my zone.
Yeah, you got to do your job first.
Right.
And then you keep a personal score. But that's why guys like Kachuk, Marchand, you have guys like that are just agitate. They throw that jab every play, after every little play, every contact. You get a stick or a quick hook to the, wherever you don't have pads, whether it's on your stomach or on your wrist, they'll get that little cheap shot in. And that if you're not experienced, and if you're not mentally mature enough to handle that stuff, then you blow the game. You take that stupid penalty, you take the bait. So yeah, there's a lot of that going on, but it does add up. And then you've got a point where now you can retaliate, or now you can even instigate without taking that extra penalty, and you take both for 5 instead of leaving your team short. So yeah, it's another one of those masters of art. You got to really figure out what's going on in between each play.
Is there a certain level of, kind of like back in the old Jordan rules, where guys at a certain level can get away with things that maybe a rookie cannot get away with?
Yeah, there really is. And then there's also your unwritten rules of, look, if you just got pulled up, you don't touch Sidney Crosby, you don't touch a lot of these guys, because we don't know who you are. You can't come in and take out one of the best stars of the league. So yeah, and refs will look the other way. A lot of, Crosby doesn't really do a lot of cheap stuff, but if he did, the refs would just let him do it. Because, if there was I can't remember what the show was, but they showed a 60-second clip of just a bunch of different shifts that Sidney Crosby takes. And every time he's on the ice, the other first line is taking their shots at him. He has a tough life. So refs will let him,
navigate,
retaliate a little bit.
Yeah. Yep. Get his own licks in.
Yeah.
Speaking of Sidney Crosby,
man,
take me through that overtime goal that he put through.
I'm trying to, was it, I can't remember who got stuck out there because I thought there was a chance for us to get a line change. I don't want to blame Kesselring if it wasn't him. I can't remember who was out there, but anyway, we should have had a line change, and the puck just came back too quick. Like, we almost had a scoring opportunity. The puck comes back. They get a line change, and the minute I saw Crosby pick that puck up on the left side, I go, oh no, and I go, oh boy, here we go, and yeah, and the people next to me are like, no, but you could just see the writing on the wall. Our guys were spent, and one of the best players in the history of the game has the puck in close, in a high-scoring opportunity. And, man, Ingram stuck right with – if you watch, like, Ingram's with them the whole way. And then there's just that last little inch. And, you're stretched out all the way, and that guy's limber, man. You can see he's in the splits, and his glove is on top of his skate, just like you want it to be. And Crosby, being Crosby, just goes a little bit higher.
About a 3-inch gap.
Man, just – and, I got to tell you, as a hockey fan, and there were a ton of Penguins fans there, right? You saw
yeah.
And there's a ton of people that like Penguins. The Penguins have been good for a long time. The episode of my podcast that just dropped this morning was with Kevin Stevens, who played in the 90s when they won 3 cups in a row. So they've been good for a long time, and they've just developed fans forever. So to see fans, you can't just give up on, I still watch Kings games, I'm not rooting for them as hard, but you can't just give up on the team that you've loved for forever, not expecting to have a team, right? But to have those Penguins fans get, I think it was a win-win. You got a point in the standings, and you got to see your hero, Sidney Crosby, score a Sidney Crosby-type goal.
An OT.
In overtime.
Yeah.
It was just freaking amazing. I hated that we lost, but I loved everything about that game. And I thought we played well.
I did too.
I liked that Tuna came right out and took a fight. I wasn't pumped. I'll say this. I know I'll get some hate mail, but I don't love him being in the lineup over Chelly or over Carcone. I just wish there was another way to work him in, but there's not. I just think those two players bring more to the game.
Well, it feels like they bring more in terms of points.
Yeah, and they do. And
would that be a fair statement?
100%. Yeah, and that's my part that I think. But he does bring some energy, and he started creating some opportunities. He's just not finishing them. So I'd like to see Spicy Tuna get a point or two. I don't think he's in the lineup tonight.
It is weird though, Jay, because when he hits the ice, the attitude changes.
Yeah,
at least
it does. It does, and
I feel the same way about McBain.
Yeah, and I think you're going to start seeing it with Doan too, because Doan's going to just keep going right through.
I see that with Doan.
Yeah, because Doan's going to just keep going through guys, and when you have, we're not a hitting team. So you've got O'Brien out there, and that's the only time the other team really keeps their head up. McBain, he goes in flying around. He's a little reckless. I like the way he plays. But Doan, man, Doan's got it too.
Is that a thing that you can develop, or is that just kind of the DNA of this team? And until they bring in different personnel, that's just who they are. They're not going to be an overly physical team.
It'll develop because we've got so many 20-year-olds that have got to grow into their bodies a little bit more. So I think Cooley will get bigger and better, and we just lost him to injury today. So he's out of the lineup. I'm sure you guys saw that.
Yeah.
Cooley's getting bigger. You're going to see Gunther get bigger. These guys are going to get bigger. They're going to grow into their bodies a little bit more. And but we don't expect them to hit, but I don't expect them to not hit either. There's a balance in there. So I think we'll grow into it. We'll bring somebody else in that's more of a banger. And
is that something that Florida, when they've gone out and they've, signed players or drafted players, is that part of who they're looking for that maybe other teams aren't necessarily putting that level of emphasis on?
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's been proven over and over. We can talk about how it's a new NHL and how it's smaller and faster, and it's definitely smaller and faster than it was in the 90s and the early 2000s, right? There's no hooking, there's no clutching and grabbing that used to see guys get away with. But yeah, Florida, man, they just have 4 lines that just pound you. Their top line will not only will they put up 100 points, but they're also going to freaking crush you at they're going to finish every check. So that's almost demoralizing, right? Because you're like, all right, we're going to put our fourth line on their first line, and we're going to crunch them a little bit. That doesn't work on Florida. And so it's been proven that those tougher teams advance further in the playoffs, and they just get used to taking a beating. And that's what I've been saying the whole time about Florida. They're a playoff team from day one of the season. Pregame, it all feels like it's playoffs.
Well, that's one thing I was looking at, because I was looking at points leaders, and Florida doesn't even have a points leader in the top 15.
Yeah, they're pretty spread out.
Yeah, they don't have a points leader in the top 15. In fact, I'm going to pull this up for you, Jay, because I don't want to be mistaken here. But obviously, McKinnon is leading the league at 78 points. He's actually tied with Draisaitl out of Edmonton. Sorry, he's got a 2-point lead over Draisaitl.
So you're gonna.
But you got to go all the way down to number 20 to find Sam Reiner.
Yeah,
54 points. So it's just Florida's just spread out.
Just balanced.
Yeah, it's just balanced.
So balanced, and they're just every line's a threat. Like I'm not even a Panthers fan, so I don't want people to think that. I just look at them and I'm like, that is a perfectly built team.
Yeah.
There's Tkachuk. Okay, I was looking for Tkachuk, 37th.
Yeah.
47 points.
He's a brute. How many penalty minutes does he have right now?
Let's see. Penalty minutes. I got him right here. Penalty minutes, he is at 2014.
Huh.
Oh, no. Sorry.
Pims, yeah, you're looking.
Where?
He's going to be way up there. Because he's
54.
Yeah. There you go. So, he's just a threat, man. That guy's just unreal. And how cool would that be if he was on our team, right? He's fun to watch, and he's tough to play against. He's not just physical, because he's also super offensive, just like his brother, just like his dad. They're just fun.
23rd in the league in penalty minutes.
Yeah, I thought he'd be higher. Honestly, I really did.
Yeah, 23rd in the league.
That's a mature. That's the problem. Now he's maturing,
Now
too.
he's starting to figure things out.
Yeah, that's not good. That's more dangerous.
Zadorov is leading the league right now in penalty minutes. It's 115.
Oof. Well, you know who led it last year, right? Liam O'Brien.
Yeah, that's right.
He led the league in penalty minutes.
Tkachuk is second, 97.
Wow.
Hey, Outlaws have a chance, or is it just Mammoth?
Outlaws absolutely have a chance. And it's crazy, because I know the reason it was left off was because of the potential PR nightmare. And I think we've talked about this before. You have these groups that are going around. They're trying to get the Pittsburgh Pirates to change their name. They're trying to get the Minnesota Vikings to change their names because they don't want us worshiping or, yeah, I know. It's the same thing. You got these groups, and they don't want you to worship these violent criminals from back in the day. But that's not how people look at Vikings now, and that's not how people look at Pirates now. Most people nowadays think of Jack Sparrow when you talk about a pirate, right? And I don't know. There's definitely some tradition of outlaws living in Utah, and I think, here's my personal opinion, is if that name would have been on from the beginning, or like the beginning of the week, if it would have said Outlaws, Mammoth, Utah Hockey Club, and we would have just gone with that, I think it would have been more even. But the fact that it got left off and then had to be brought back in kind of gives it more of a cult following. And I think it's unstoppable at this point.
You think it's Outlaws?
I think it's going to be out.
Wow. Okay.
So on my, on the Utah Puck Report, and on some of the other social media stuff, I've been doing the surveys, and I put it out there, and it had 56% already.
All right.
Jay, I want to square this away with you.
Okay.
So Brady Tkachuk, with Ottawa, is second.
Okay.
In penalty minutes.
Yeah.
Matthew Tkachuk with Florida is 23rd with 54 minutes. So I was confused. Are they brothers?
Yeah, they're brothers.
Oh, I had no idea.
Oh yeah.
I had no idea.
Imagine what that family reunion's like. Jeez.
Yeah.
Sunday dinner.
And they fought.
Yeah.
They played.
Have they on the ice?
A couple times, but it was funny because they had on one of the first games they had their grandma came to the game. So their mom, their dad, their dad's a legend, absolute USA hockey legend, Keith Tkachuk for the St. Louis Blues, and their grandma was there, and they dropped the gloves and went at it hard. And you could just see their grandma put her head down.
That's the best.
And they've been doing it since they were little kids.
I apologize to take you guys off that conversation. I just wanted to square that away. But you're feeling Outlaws is it?
just based on what I'm seeing on social media, like I'm not Qualtrics. Like I can't read data like they read data, but on my stuff it's 56% Outlaws, and then that's split like 25-25 for the or 24-24 for the other ones. So
yeah,
it's really.
What did you say you wanted?
When I voted Mammoth. In fact, I think I voted Mammoth every time. Even when Yeti was on the table at the very beginning, I still wanted it to be Powder Hounds or Fighting Saints. You know, I think all those things would be fun. I thought Utah Phoenix would be funny too, just the homage back to the Arizona. And Phoenix is such a cool spiritual thing. And, But no, I've been Mammoth. I like that tie-in with us. I think it could be some cool logos with that. I don't text me and tell me that there's already a Mammoth lacrosse team. I get it, but I don't care about lacrosse. I only care about hockey. So, you know, we have the New York Rangers, the Texas Rangers. It goes on and on and on. You can share two names with different sports.
You can split it up.
For sure.
But apparently you cannot split Yeti.
No. Apparently there's.
I told you guys that, right? Like it had nothing to do with just the team could have been named Yeti. But they couldn't sell shirts.
Yeah, they can't trademark it. Yeah.
They were fine with it being Yeti, but having shirts and baby onesies and water bottles, that's all trademarked Yeti, and Yeti company's not going to give up on that.
So before we let you go, Jay, you've tracked down some skates.
Tracked down some skates.
Skate Watch 2025.
Man, and it's crazy because I had to go through a bunch of different stuff to find them, and I found a lot of forward skates, but I'm like, okay. If that's the last thing we could do, then I could put you out there and tell the guys just to make sure they don't hit your skates.
Don't shoot at the feet.
You can take shots on forward skates. Lots of people do. It's not that big of a deal. But I am taking you out with the Utah Grizzlies, who are professional athletes, and they can shoot hard. Let me tell you,
I'm nervous,
they can
but I'm
shoot
excited.
Hard. Well, and we've got everybody. Like I know Lloyd wants to get in and take some shots. Find some enemies, people that don't like you. Let's get them out there and see how hard they can shoot.
They see he has none. Everybody loves him.
And not teach them about the skate or the gobbler.
Yeah.
Be like, they're my enemy. You don't need any throat coverage. Just keep that head up.
Yeah.
Keep that head up.
Yeah.
I'm excited to come out and get an experience in the net. And I was paying close attention to Ingram's skate.
Yeah.
And the way the pad kind of comes down, hits the kind of the curve of the skate almost to the toe, but you can see there's just that little gap, the top of the pad and the toe.
Yeah, and we used to have a little piece of plastic that covered that little gap called a puck foil. But yeah, and my gear is identical to what Veggie wears.
Okay.
Same make, same model, almost the same sizing. I'm regular-handed and he's wrong-handed.
Oh, okay.
So.
Well, I'm excited to do it, Jay.
One on a par 4? That's got to be some kind of record, huh?
Oh, yeah. Hey, I got a hockey record. I took my skate off and tried to stab somebody. I'm the only guy who ever did that.
I love it.
Beautiful pull. Well, Jay, we appreciate it, man. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, I'll do it anytime. Let me know. Love talking hockey.
Jay Stevens, he is your hockey insider for KSLSports.com. Hans and Scotty, this is 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is DJ and PK.
Aaron Roderick, BYU offensive coordinator. How much can Jake Retzlaff improve, and where can he improve going forward in a sport that's so quarterback dependent?
I don't talk a lot about stats, but I have said directly to him, next year we need to be in the 30 touchdowns plus with single-digit interceptions. That's what Zach did. That's what Jaron did. And if you do that, those are winning numbers. Those aren't just numbers to get you all conference votes. Those are numbers that help you win games. And then the other one is I think we really need to improve our completion percentage. We need to be up around 70% completions next year. Those are quantifiable things that he can do next season that will lead to more points and hopefully another couple wins.
Catch DJ and PK mornings from 6 to 10 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. The wheel is loaded, and it's time to talk some sports. This is Sports Roulette with Hans and Scotty on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Remember, Valentine's Day is coming up. What better way to say I love you than original, cozy, and classy Minky Couture blanket? Save 50% using promo code ZONE50 in stores and online at minkycouture.com. Minky Couture, they have got you covered. You know what? Another way you could say I love you, give your loved one some jazz tickets. And we're giving away 4-pack right now. 801-575-ZONE. That's 801-575-ZONE. Caller number 12. You're going to win a 4-pack of tickets. See the Jazz and the Pacers coming up on Monday, February 3rd at the Delta Center. Let's go. Get those tickets.
Yeah, it's that easy. Just call. And we got you taken care of. The wheel is loaded.
Yeah, and we have plenty of time to get to all of them.
Yeah, because we're on time.
Lloyd, fire up that wheel.
Glad he's okay.
So there's a podcast called The Why with Dwayne Wade, and Dwayne just jumps on and gives updates and comments. I had not heard this, and I don't know if you had.
No,
I hadn't even heard underground comments on this. But Dwayne Wade on his podcast today, by the way, part owner of the Utah Jazz, he said that he had taken a couple of years off from physicals after retiring from the NBA. And then in 2023, he had a full body scan. The scan produced images of a cyst or a tumor on his right kidney. So they find this big tumor on his right kidney, and he's probably freaking out pretty good because he's been full health, I'm sure, pretty much his whole life. Went to the doctors. The doctor said, we got to go in. We got to get that tumor out of there. So they went in, and they removed 40% of his right kidney with that tumor.
Wow. Geez.
40% of the right kidney with the tumor, but they took it out. And this is his quote: "Thank God that I did the surgery. I think it was the first time my family, my dad, my kids, they saw me weak. That moment was probably the weakest point I've ever had in my life. I was struggling, dog struggling. And one thing you never want to do as a man is you never want your family to see you weak. You don't want a perceived weakness, and you don't want them to, you don't want to be seen in those moments. But I had to go through it." That tumor came back cancerous.
Oh, they ran the tests?
They ran the tests, but he had it removed, and from what I understand, he didn't really, at least from what I understand, he didn't go into depth in the podcast, but from what I understand, he's cancer-free. But that tumor did have cancerous agents. Wow. So
scares the bejeebers out of you, man.
Especially when you're talking about attached to the kidney.
Yeah, exactly.
Because kidney cancers are a very unfriendly kind of cancer.
Well, and, knowing a couple people that have dealt with kidney issues, dialysis and everything that goes along with it is just no bueno.
Nothing good about that.
No.
But it sounds like
he's out of the woods.
He's got a clear bill of health. Does that what you took from that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I took from it as well. So good luck to Dwayne Wade. Again, this was he underwent the surgery in December of 2023. So he's a year and a month removed.
Yeah. I also respect, I don't know, there's just a lot of people, especially famous people, that get the hint of something's wrong with them and they make a big deal about it and stuff. I kind of admire the fact that he's like, I'm going to handle this. And then when we get out on the other side, then I'm going to talk about it. But I don't need to let the whole world in and know my business on this. Which is kind of...
I like that way.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people that kind of put all their lives out on social media and stuff like that. And I like when you're just like, no, this is, everything's good. Everything's fine as far as you know. And I'll deal with my stuff with me and my family.
We'll go to battle.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go to battle with me and the crew that's close.
Yeah, exactly.
And then when I win the battle, we'll talk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Dwayne won the battle.
Yep. Good for him. All right, we'll wrap this thing up next. Wrap this week up next. Hans and Scotty, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
They could be the Utah Clown Show, and if they win a Stanley Cup, the Clown Show is going to be the coolest thing since sliced bread. Can you imagine how cool the Bozo the Clown uniforms would look, those sweaters? Can you imagine they'd sell a zillion if they could just win some hockey games? People are eventually going to like it.
Yes, I agree with that. I think sometimes we get precious at the beginning of things without realizing that really what has to happen is it just has to get baked in. To your point, whether it's the Utah Wasatch, the Utah Hockey Club, or the Utah Mammoth, 20 years from now, as long as this team is still in Utah, it's going to be beloved that the name was, and we're going to look back and laugh at the idea that it was almost the Utah Wasatch, or it was almost the Utah Yeti, or almost the Utah whatever.
Hear Jake Scott and Ben Anderson every day from 10 to noon on 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.